Hello everyone, this is Paul Franzen from GameCola.net,
And this is Michael Gray, also from GameCola.net.
and today we're recording a video talkthrough of Back to the Future Episode 3, Part 1, Citizen Brown.
Yes, that's exactly what we're playing here today.
This is we're recording audio commentary over previously recorded footage of the game, courtesy of Michael Gray.
Uh-huh.
And
And once again, I'm turning up the graphics, I guess.
yes,
Or am I not?
you're thinking about it.
What does anti-aliasing mean?
It has something to do with graphics.
Okay. I don't know what the graphics are going to look like, so...
45 seconds into this, and we probably already have someone furiously commenting on what that is.
Well, can you see my mouse? Is my mouse is visible throughout the entire
Sure is.
video. Oh, I forgot to take care of that when I was recording.
Oh well.
Brilliant, brilliant.
I think I noticed that you did turn captions on for this one, though.
I did turn on the
Yes,
captions for
I think
the
that was a good call.
entire. So, if we're talking over what's going on, people will still be able to understand the plot.
Yes, because there is a significant amount of us talking over the characters talking.
And the plot is that Marty has just crash landed in the future. And he landed in a billboard sign, which is something I think I tried to mention this last time, or maybe not, but with flying cars, you think that would be more of a problem.
Well, this isn't the future. This is an alternate 1985. There shouldn't be flying cars
Yeah.
yet, theoretically. He just happens to
Okay.
have one.
But I still wonder, how do they prevent horrible
Huh.
accidents, in the future? Because you think cars would accidentally run into buildings, because they already do that when cars are on the ground.
Or accidentally run into each other, for that matter, without clearly defined lanes, unless they have clearly defined lanes, I guess.
It looked like in the movie they had clearly defined lanes, right?
But it also it looks so chaotic, though. I don't know how they were able to follow them.
It does. There were traffic problems. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a cab that cut Doc and Marty off.
Yeah, I would imagine that switching over to flying cars would involve a significant overhaul of our current transportation system.
So here's my question. Do DeLorean windows actually work like that?
They probably do.
I've never seen a DeLorean outside of Back to the Future, so
What the hell? Hey, could you give me a Jennifer?
He sure recognizes her awfully quick.
that is a good point, considering she looks nothing like
Yeah,
Jennifer.
and also doesn't sound anything like her, although that's more of a problem with the voice acting than anything else.
They have the voice
Oh,
actress who plays
it is actually
Jennifer.
her, isn't it? My
I
bad.
need some help. Why
I'm
did
They
sorry.
hired the woman who plays Jennifer to play Jennifer.
DeLorean?
But it's the Jennifer from the first movie, is that
No,
correct?
I mean,
I think yes, it is.
Okay,
I think
that's what
we
threw me off because
decided.
I'm probably more used to hearing the one from the second movie.
Sticking out of the friggin' billboard.
Well, the one from the
Never
second
mind,
movie
just
doesn't
give me
do
a
as
hand,
much,
okay?
I guess, acting as the one from the first movie.
No? Huh.
Well,
So
okay,
we're
let's
supposed
be
to
fair.
be
I mean,
true
her
or
role
false?
in the third
This is
movie is
funny,
basically
Jennifer.
she's on screen
Yeah.
for
Oh
like
yeah,
3
in the third
minutes.
movie she doesn't do much of anything. In the
In the
first
third
movie
movie.
she has like one
She did-
scene. Or I guess
That's something
two.
I should
I
be
guess there's
asking
that scene at the
you.
end also.
You probably wrecked your head. Just what's the
Yeah.
date, Jennifer?
I actually I'm gonna say they're probably she has equal
1986.
amount of screen time in both
Yeah.
movies. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
man. Oh, man.
In the
You
second
can't
movie,
do that.
I think that's the most we see of Jennifer is the second
Jennifer,
movie.
you look
She's on
so
screen for like the first 15 minutes.
That's the
Although we
general
just see
idea
her
of being a
unconscious,
non-conformist.
basically.
Yeah.
That's not what I meant. What are you
There is
Anyway.
there's future Jennifer. Does she play future Jennifer as well?
I believe she does. Yes. Oh wait.
having this argument
Yes.
again.
Yeah. Maybe.
We need to look this up on
Oh.
IMDb. Notice we're completely ignoring the
I
game
know.
that we're supposed to
Um,
be doing commentary.
So Marty's just like trying to carry on a conversation with her at the moment. I think he's supposed to eventually try to get out of this predicament.
What are you wearing, Jen?
But he's being thrown off by the fact that she's not acting like she does in the movies.
She appears to have taken a turn for the punk rock.
Never mind.
And she thinks he's a dork.
Good idea.
Well,
She seems to dislike him very much.
Doing down there?
Kinda
Not that
is.
you'd ever understand it, but I really
What do you mean
You
he's a
don't think
dork?
he's a little dorky?
Anyway, what's the technical
No,
term
I
for
mean, he
testing
plays
yourself to
guitar,
DeLorean
so
for
that
a
makes him
billboard?
cool by
Yeah, but he
default,
plays
right?
Huey Lewis on the
Get a
news. Is that really
DeLorean.
cool?
Is it stolen?
Maybe it was
That's
cool
a
back in the
little complicated.
1980s?
Was it?
I
Maybe it
don't
was.
know.
Can you help me down?
But look at his clothes.
Jump. I'll break my neck.
Yeah, his clothes were kind of weird.
Although again, I guess you're right. I am kind of judging it by
Door's here.
2012 standards.
I can't reach
Yeah.
it. Besides, I'm not climbing under
No,
Anyway,
it.
it
here's
looks like
what
we're
I
trying
think.
to
His
solicit
father,
her
his
help in getting out of this car.
Could you call
his
someone?
father, George
Uh,
McFly, I
truck,
think,
maybe.
is the one who's the
That
definition
will.
of dork.
I'm in enough
Yes,
trouble
but
already.
And not
the
Marty.
original George
Explain
McFly.
your DeLorean violating a
Before the events
billboard
of the
to
first movie.
anyone.
Mm-hmm.
He becomes pretty cool afterwards too, although he's still kind of writing science fiction, so I guess there's at least a little bit of nerdiness in there.
Tire iron. I think that's
And she has the tire iron, which was from
Oh,
episode
Grandpa,
episode
This
1.
is my
That's right.
What do you give me for it?
I like how she just puts it behind her back and it magically disappears. Like
The
there's
tire
just...
who? The big metal thing
Oh,
you're
well, that fits in line with
Oh,
adventure
right.
games though, where they
As
can
soon
just
as
put
you
tons and
offer up
tons
a
and tons of
decent
things in their
trade.
pockets, whether those
Oh.
things actually fit or not.
Yeah.
All right, let me think this through.
Okay, so Marty has to give her something in order to get the tire iron. So does he have something that she wants?
And why do we want the tire iron?
So we could break the
Oh,
window.
yes. I thought I fixed
Okay.
Jennifer's existence.
Can't we just break the window with something else?
Where did that photograph of him and Jennifer
I
come
was
from?
wondering
Do you
that
have
too.
one?
Hill Valley crime at all-time low. No joke.
Apparently he's been holding out on us. He has more inventory items that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
What else does he
And
have in his
still has
pockets?
the flask. So he's gonna give her the flask. Even
Jennifer,
though it's empty.
this is all I got.
Yeah, this whole
We
thing
saw at
doesn't
the
make any
I
sense.
mean, we saw at the
to
end of the last game it's empty. Because Marty tried drinking from it, and we made fun of him. And it's like you're gonna pick up a random flask and try to drink from it.
Ooh.
And apparently it smells like armpits.
The gangster? Where the hell did you get this?
Yeah, this whole thing just didn't make any sense to me when I was playing it. I'm like, I don't know why I want the tire iron. I don't know why she would want the flask.
Heads up. Thanks.
No idea what's going on.
Oh, great. Now what? Oops. Oh.
See, now what was his plan then? Because his plan clearly was not to break the glass with the tire iron right there.
You know that is a good
He
question.
was trying to get the tire iron into the car.
Well, you're the
He
dork.
hadn't
I
thought
think
that
you
far
decided to
ahead.
stay.
He just wanted the tire iron.
Good luck with your car. Way to stick it to Big Brother. Just don't expect your sudden cry for attention to change anything between us, dig?
He needs Doc to help him plan better, I think.
Talk about. Hey, maybe
Yeah.
you lift in a town. Oh, sure, Martin. Climb on in. Jennifer, wait. I told you we're through, McFly. I'll never think such a square again. My own girlfriend thinks I'm a square.
Oh, poor
This
Marty.
is getting worse.
Oh god.
So.
And then
Why
the
did-
car falls on him. The end.
Oh. And he dies. The end. Oh.
Oh.
Why did that not happen sooner? Did somehow him falling? No, because the car fell forward.
the
so it
the
must
weight
have been...
distribution changed when he got out of the car.
Yeah, that has to be it. And he tries kicking the
Yeah.
wheel, but
Doc, I
falls
could
down.
use your help right about
And
now.
you say he's not a big dork.
He's understandably been thrown off.
Yeah, okay. He's a little out of sorts.
I mean, he just saw his only means of getting out of here alive crash.
Go around the entire city. Could they?
Meanwhile,
No, at
Doc
least
was in
one
the car
problem
when we
will
left, right?
He disappeared.
He disappeared.
So, I mean, he disappeared, which sort of threw Marty off.
1986.
And this
Yeah,
is something I'll
date's
probably
right, but
bring up again in the second video, but what happened was first the ticket to Frankenstein disappeared, and then Doc disappeared. Do you remember the ending cutscene?
Oh, I remember what happens in this episode.
Okay.
I was trying to be dramatic.
Oh, by dramatic pause. No, what's gonna happen
and
is
reminding the viewers at home
12 volts.
that something weird
Is the
happened
car
with Doc
battery?
here.
That must have been installed in 2015 with the Mr. Fusion. Still has plenty of juice.
Mm-hmm. Well, the movie ticket which disappeared is going to magically reappear, which makes no sense to me. It shows up in part 2.
Shouldn't be allowed to
Nice.
drive it anymore.
And I'm going to point that out because it's like the movie ticket disappeared and then suddenly it reappears.
The wheel must have been running off the battery.
Come on, Marty.
Must have been running off the
Oh,
battery.
this was me taking a while to solve this puzzle. I didn't realize you need to use the tire iron
Small and light
on the
battery.
wheel.
I've never seen terminals like this. Maybe it's
Yeah, see, that's what tire irons are for. So I don't. What's he gonna do once he gets it inside the car? You can't really remove the tires from there. And then removing the tires doesn't really help him anyway.
Now, here's my question. Why hasn't the notebook disappeared with the change in the
Right.
timeline? So all the other things tend
Yeah.
to disappear and or change.
Right. I mean, if anything, or if it didn't disappear, it should have kind of warped to wherever Doc is right now.
Yeah.
Just like Doc himself, you would think. Huh. Are you suggesting, sir, that this game has some issues with how it deals with time travel?
No, I'm just saying the notebook, which they introduced at the beginning of the first game, just has not come into play until here. So, I mean, they needed the notebook because there needed to be some way for Doc to have the notes on how to fix the time machine. Actually, I don't know what I'm saying. Never mind. Marty's inside, everybody. We just finished Act 1.
Good job, Michael.
Yes.
Far out.
What did I call this? Oh, I didn't... Did I give this a name?
No name. Not yet.
I called this the New Hill Valley in my walkthrough. And here we are in the New Hill Valley. My computer's freezing up a little bit. That's what happened when I played the game itself. You know, there was a new scene, so it froze up for a couple of seconds.
Okay, Marty.
Must be because you have the graphics setting so high.
Yeah. No, I think that happened even when it was set low.
That doesn't mean it's full of post-apocalyptic biker gangs run by armies of Biff clones. Just take a deep breath and remember, we gotta find Doc.
So what is the New Hill Valley like?
It looks kind of awesome. I just saw someone drive by in a golf cart.
Lots of golf carts.
Yeah.
I think that might be the same person.
Hey, I'm all for a future in which everyone gets a free golf cart.
They don't get free golf carts. They have to pay for them.
Still, I think our society could stand to be more golf cart centric.
Yes, that's a good point.
It is how, after all, the best part of playing golf itself.
So everything is all silver and futuristic. Which is funny, because this is present time, not future, but...
And technically for us, it's the past, since it's 1986, I guess.
Yeah.
Good morning, citizen. Good morning to you too, citizen.
But it still seems to be quite technologically advanced. Or at least
It's
technologically
because,
advanced looking.
it's Doc. I think Doc must have been allowed to make all sorts of inventions and make it technologically advanced. And this is the statue of Doc, which doesn't look much like him, I would think, but it's him standing on top of Kid Tannen.
It kind of looked like a woman to me at first.
It did. I mean, he's wearing a toga. So, I mean, when on earth has Doc ever worn a toga?
You don't remember the part in the last episode where he put a toga on?
He went to the big toga party?
Yeah, they went back to ancient Greece. Did you miss
yeah.
that episode?
I must have missed it.
Mr. Parker.
I bet someone's really confused right now and trying to find the episode where they go to Greece.
Well, that was on a TV show, right?
Actually, that probably is true.
Thursday. You're out of uniform. That's a violation of Civic Ordinance 9
Okay, so this is Jennifer's father, who is not a very nice person in the alternate future.
Wait, I know this one. We have to play a song on our record player or whatever to change his mood.
Put your arms up. Spread your legs.
Hey, what are you doing?
Quiet. Hold still. Nothing. What's your deal?
Good thing he got rid of that booze. I mean,
He didn't seem
flask.
to find the battery or the notebook or any of the other 18 things Marty's carrying with him.
Contraband.
Well, Marty's got, like, he's got his vest on top of a sweater on top of a jacket. 1, 2, 3. I count 4 layers of clothing on him.
He must be really sweating in there.
Yeah, he's got his colored shirt, he's got his red shirt on underneath, and the blue jacket, jean jacket, and the vest, orange vest.
I usually don't see her unless she's racking
Must
up
also take him a long time to get dressed in the morning.
No, he doesn't usually change his clothes, I don't think.
He just strips the vest off.
I've always been a cop, just like my pa.
That was in the movies, right? Marty actually jumps into bed with all his clothes on.
I believe it was, yeah.
And then when he tried that again in the second movie, there was somebody else inside the bed. I remember that scene. And then her father chased him outside with a shotgun. And this is her clue. We have to look at that thing.
I've got to finish my beat. Are you gonna make trouble for me today?
No.
No what?
No, sir.
That's right, citizen.
So I'm getting kind of a 1984 vibe from this area, this game.
Never read 1984.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, we had to for school. I forget. I guess probably high school, maybe middle school.
Is it about like a dystopia future?
Yeah, I'm really not the person to describe what it's about, but it's about a new society where government has basically total control over every minutia of your life.
Well, there are governments which are trying to do that nowadays.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a question I have, I guess, about the game in general. Or, wait. I think my mouse disappeared.
It did.
It did! I recognized that it was on screen partly through and decided to get rid of it. Alright.
What is this?
But it seems like that might be a common theme of, like, TV shows where they have a dystopia future.
Well, I
Like one
think,
episode.
Not just TV shows, video games do that too. I think you see it a lot in RPGs, particularly since it's such an easy mechanic to work with, because then there's a definable bad guy for you to go take on.
Yeah, and you can just basically copy paste the character models from the present. I mean, isn't that the case with Day of the Tentacle, where the people in the future are like basically look exactly the same like the people in the present, but they like change the hair color and
Yes,
they
yeah, it is.
they're descendants. Okay, now this is the part I take issue with. Oh, I guess I'm not going to do that. But when Marty presses the button, well, here's something else I take issue with. Notice the dogs on the courthouse.
Yes.
Why are they still there?
I have
They're
no
there
idea.
for a puzzle at the end of the 4th game, but you think future Edna would have gotten rid of them when she
Exactly.
rebuilt the courthouse.
Kind of bothered me a lot. Also, they're Einstein.
It's clearly Einstein,
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, it's the same model, they just added a stone skin to it.
hmm
Yeah, I didn't really understand that at all.
I also don't understand how the courthouse manages to be somehow above the speakeasy, which we'll see in the second video where that decycling bin that Marty was talking about earlier, that leads directly to the speakeasy. Even though the speakeasy's on the other side of the courthouse area, the courtyard.
Hmm.
So maybe they just moved the courthouse like 50 feet over. Move the entire town 50 feet over
Well,
to make
I mean,
it work.
with Doc's technological advancements,
Are
maybe
there
that's
just
possible.
a 50-foot tube we don't see?
I think he just has a building transportation machine somewhere. Or perhaps even a teleportation device of some sort.
hmm Now he's talking to Edna here, and he doesn't try talking to Edna, which is a stupid move on Marty's part.
Well, Edna hasn't exactly been a particularly helpful person up until this point, particularly super old Edna.
But she knows him. I mean,
Hmm.
his plan is, I mean, the first thing what he does when he sees old Doc, I mean, the alternate Doc, is it's like, I'm the person you met 60 years ago, helped you
Okay.
defeat Kit Tannen.
Doc?
It's like, why couldn't he have at least tried that on Edna and
Even
said,
even
hey,
if
Edna.
Edna believed him, though, I don't know. I just don't think Edna would have really been inclined to help him. And I don't think she would have believed him either. Though I don't. I guess we'll see what happens with Doc.
I would have at least tried.
Okay.
I don't know if you've done this, but if you ring it multiple times, he talks to her multiple times.
Of course not.
Are you bleeding profusely on the pavement?
No, but it's a...
Then it's no
Why didn't he just say yes?
Wait for a scheduled appointment.
He's not that
Yes,
smart.
I am bleeding all over. I need you to open the gate and let me in.
Stop pressing my button.
Hey, let me in.
I mean, she comes out to see him. He could have said something. It's like, don't you recognize me? Or, I don't know.
That's true. He doesn't really have any reason to think that Doc would be more likely to recognize him than she would be.
No entry.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
money.
Huh.
No how. Guess I'm not getting in that way.
This alternate version of Edna is clearly, she has her things together. I don't know how you say it.
Yeah.
She seems more with it than the first Edna we met.
And she also looks a lot more diabolical.
She looks younger.
She
She
does
hasn't
look younger,
aged.
doesn't she?
She hasn't aged as much as the other one.
Right. She's led an easier life, one might say, or suspect.
You might suspect, but I mean, the other Edna was, I don't know, I guess maybe marriage did something good for Edna, and she doesn't age as much.
Established in 1945.
So what did the other Edna do? She basically just lived alone in her apartment.
Yeah,
and
I'm not
collected
sure if she had like a
newspapers.
job or anything. Oh no, I'm sorry. She had been a journalist for a while, a reporter,
Yeah,
and now she was retired, living with her cats.
The radical civil
and you'd think that, being the person in charge of running a town would cause more stress, not less.
That is true.
efficient
And she sure comes across as kind of uptight and kind of stressed out, I think.
technologies that preserve
She does come across as being extremely busy, I guess. I mean, in this timeline.
amazing advancements
A little bit, I don't know.
In the other timeline, she was quietly enjoying retirement. Well, maybe not quietly, but
Yeah.
loudly enjoying retirement.
cities around the world.
I wonder if, again, Doc's magical technological advancements have helped her. Maybe some particularly fancy anti-aging cream or something like that.
Citizen reading room. I guess there's one in every town.
I don't know, maybe it's just less stressful that she actually has somebody to listen to her.
Oh,
Emily's stage
Maybe.
agents. The heck is a stage
Now that she's less lonely.
oh, I feel kind of bad. She's still evil though, so I don't feel too
I don't
bad.
like the overuse of the word citizen in this
She's
timeline.
still evil, yes, but I still am not sure what turned her evil.
Well, I think we might have talked about this before, but I think she's just an extraordinarily ambitious person, kind of power hungry. And
Yeah.
in the alternate timeline, like the most amount of power she was ever able to wield was,
What?
you
don't
know,
me?
writing for the newspaper. And in this time frame, she was able to amass much more power, and I guess she didn't take kindly to it, or she took kindly to it, and she didn't do well with it.
Nice clothes. You lose a bet or something?
I mean, she starts off as, she wants to make a world a better place and get rid of crime, which is a noble sentiment to have. It's just, I wonder what threw her off the edge.
But she also takes that to extremes. I mean, she burned down that speakeasy.
Yeah, I mean, that's my question, is what made her decide to go to that extreme?
It's Citizen Brown's new re-education program, and I'm the first.
And I don't think the games ever really addressed it. I think they tried to address it in the fifth episode, where they basically give her motivation is that she's crazy.
It makes me uncomfortable.
There's the scene of her talking about burning down the speakeasy, and it
That's-
sounds like she's just crazy, twisted evil.
That can be an issue with Telltale games sometimes. They don't always put as much depth into their characters as you might hope.
Citizen Brown, what an inspiration inspirational guy.
How'd you get FaceTime with him? He seems so busy.
You got that right, Martin. Citizen Brown's a busy
Yes, okay.
guy.
Edna makes a good villain.
Unfortunately, I'm a special case. See, Martin, I used to be a real bad apple. A real butthead.
You a butthead?
Uh-oh.
No.
Talking to Biff. In the alternate timeline, Biff is sort of a nice person.
What with the booze, the partying,
But why is that?
even my dogs were a pack of trouble. Pack, get it?
He's gonna explain. I think
Yeah.
he's trying to
What does this have
explain.
do with Citizen Brown?
Well, after getting in so much
Yeah,
trouble,
see, he got in
Marty,
trouble.
They took me in to see Citizen Brown and gave me an ultimatum. Citizen Plus? or
Citizen
bust.
Plus, huh?
Yeah.
So you won't break any rules anymore?
Kid, the Citizen Plus treatment makes it physically
Ah.
impossible for me to break rules.
That's
so?
convenient.
Now I get
Kinda
physically
creepy.
ill if I try to break a
They get
rule.
rid of his free will. Okay.
How's your
Well, I guess it's not
education
getting
holding
rid
up?
of its
Still
his
incapable
free
of
will.
running the
It's
citizen breaking the rules.
So incapable because it causes like a sharp pain
There you
whenever
are,
he tries to,
radio
or
here.
just flat out incapable? Like he can't. he
yeah,
just
we'll
can't.
see.
Okay.
On second thought,
We'll see there. I mean, he literally will throw up
Okay.
at
Should be a real
thoughts
cruiser.
of breaking the
that's
rules.
all
For
behind
any
me now.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer
what?
fans out there, this is not unlike Spike's character
I don't know
in
if
the
I
middle
could,
of the
actually.
season, middle of the show. Sorry.
You're just aching to
Where
find
he
out,
gets
though.
a chip implanted in his head, and whenever he tries to attack a human, he just experiences a splitting migraine, and he just has to stop immediately to stop the pain.
Please, Martin, don't
Yeah.
make me angry.
All right, Biff.
I'm sure someone
You're
out there
off the hook
very
this
much
time.
appreciates my alluding to that.
I want to know more about Citizen Plus.
You know, that was there's another futuristic. I mean, I've read another futuristic story where that's what they did in the future was they implant chips in people's brains to
Hmm.
control
You said
them.
you get some sort of watch.
Oh, it's a
Wonder if there's
real
any Buffy
classy
Back to
deal.
the Future
Just look at
fanfiction.
this state-of-the-art ticker. It's got all sorts of special modes
I could
programmed
look it
in.
up if you really
No.
want to.
But I think there's really something there that could be exploited, traveling throughout time to defeat all the world's worst vampires.
I think what it is there's not a lot of Back to the Future fan fiction.
Oh,
They take a complete medical evaluation.
that's kind of a letdown.
Give you a stack of contracts to fill out.
That sounds
So I mean, there's more Beauty and the Beast fan fiction than Back to the Future fan fiction.
In about 2 years.
What? How? Why? What is there even to do with the Beauty and the Beast characters?
The only time
I'm not
he
sure,
needs
but
for
I mean,
schedule
those
is
are
when someone
exactly.
running around racking up demerits.
I did not come up with
Fortunately, that almost never
that
happens.
statistic. Okay, so there's one crossover with
So what's the
1984,
point of
two
Citizen
with
Plus?
Balto.
It may not be
Balt?
as noticeable
Wait, are we
for
talking
an
about
outstanding
Beauty and the Beast
citizen
or Back
like
to the
yourself,
Future?
but
Back to
there's
the
no
Future,
therapy sessions.
Balto.
It's like the
Daily
Beast eats
urges
Balto
to
at the
break
end.
rules.
Whoa. Hypnotherapy?
Wow, 11 crossovers with Fairly Odd Parents and Back to the Future.
Okay, that has to be the same dude over and over
Some
again.
kind of brainwashing?
I can check.
That's a good way
And
to
one,
think about
there
it.
is one Buffy the
There
Vampire
is?
Slayer Back to the Future story. 88 miles per hour by Perfect Lionheart.
Oh man, send me the link in the chat room. I want to check that out later.
Xander dressed as Doc Brown out of Back to the Future and invented a time machine.
Nuts?
QTB got tired of him going back to wear costume after costume and kicked him out, beginning a Slider adventure. First stop, Halloween in a canon Buffyverse.
Okay, let's stop talking about Citizen Plus
Oh,
right now.
we have to link to this in the show notes. People need to read this.
Do you think I get to
Okay,
see
I'm sending it to you
Citizen Brown
now.
and all the bad
Thank
stuff
you.
you used to do?
I know what I'm doing after we're finished
Why would
recording.
you want to act like that?
Or perhaps before.
Yeah, and you're right, the Fairly Odd Parents crossover, that's just one person
Gosh,
writing
Martin, I really don't
11
like bringing up the
stories.
past, but all right, if it'll help you make a decision about Citizen Plus.
So anyway, what's going on in the game? We're still talking about Citizen Plus with Biff.
Biff is explaining what breaks the rules, because, you know, Biff broke the rules and then he got a special meeting with Doc Brown,
Hmm.
so Doc could insert the computer chip in his brain. And so now Marty is saying, hey, I want a meeting with Doc. I'm going to break all those rules, so they send me to him to get a computer chip implanted in my brain. Which is not the best plan ever.
Well, compared to some of his other plans, though. I again draw your attention to the tire
Why do
iron.
dogs get you in trouble? You weren't running dog fights, were you?
Well, his plan
No,
is
nothing
that,
that bad.
he'll meet
I just
with
used to have a
Doc
lot
and
of
then he'll
dogs.
convince Doc
What's wrong
about
with
the
that?
time machine and all that
Nothing other than
stuff
keeping the
before
neighborhood
Doc
all
implants a
nice,
computer
letting
chip
the
in his
old
brain.
people and eating all the squirrels in the park. In fact, I'm ashamed to say it was my out-of-control dogs
Okay,
that were
so there are
directly
3 rules. Do
responsible
you know
for
what
the
those 3
banning of
rules
dogs
are?
throughout Hill Valley.
You don't sound very
No.
ashamed.
Something about dogs,
Oh, I
something
am.
about
Very, very
PDA, and something
ashamed.
about loud music.
No. It's
There's no dogs
alcohol.
in
No
Hill Valley.
alcohol, no dogs, and no
Citizen Edna
PDA.
says
Oh,
it
so
carries
close.
diseases and steals shoes.
Yeah, there we go. We have dialogue options for them all right there.
They
Yeah.
weren't hookers?
No, nothing like that. It's just that
It
I
makes
wasn't
sense that
always
Edna doesn't want any
disgraced
alcohol in the
about my
town and that she
affection.
doesn't want any dogs, although I find it weird that dogs are outlawed even though we have 2 big statues
Yeah,
of dogs.
we're
in the
clearly like.
courthouse.
I mean, they put them on such high pedestals, kind of literally.
Seriously got
Like
in
it
trouble
seems
for
like a dog
3 days?
worshipping society.
You bet. The Browns
Yeah.
always say that behaviors that excite your privates should be kept in private. Or maybe it's just Citizen Edna who says that.
It's interesting. It says no public displays of affection because we'll see in
I like talking about
episode
my own
4, we'll
nasty
see
self.
Edna and young Doc
See you
with
later,
a
Pep.
public display of affection, and Marty is grossed out by that.
Interesting. I wonder what caused her to change her mind about that.
Well, in the defense of Edna and Doc, they were inside his laboratory. It wasn't like they were in public.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think she's more offended by seeing random people doing it in public. I think that's the idea.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Look around yourself. Breathe
Yeah, I mean the things that she has banned. Well,
immaculate scenery and architecture.
no, I was gonna say they're reasonable, but she banned dogs, and that's very unreasonable.
Yeah. It's like littering is against the law. Well, that makes sense because
Yeah,
littering is
it should
bad.
be.
I think it is in our society.
I think
It's just
yeah.
not really enforced. I've seen people litter. They're very bad people.
It's
And it
just
does look like
she's a person with very strong ideas, and in a position of power, she's going to enforce everyone else to think the same way that she does.
why didn't she do anything about journalism? Considering that's such a huge love of hers.
Well, what would she do with journalism?
She would at least there appear to be no newspapers whatsoever
Yes.
in the new Hill Valley.
Yeah, what happened to the Hill Valley Telegraph? Did it just die out? Because that doesn't seem like something she should have allowed to happen.
I wasn't trying to destroy it.
Yeah, I mean, even in the normal timeline, she still had a bunch of newspapers, right? So clearly there were
Yes.
newspapers. And this is me just learning that you can spin around that statue, which is part of a puzzle later on. So what is the statue? Is that supposed to be like a vase that they're standing on? And what is Doc holding? He's got a book in one hand.
Kind of looks like the Statue of Liberty. See, I see a bust. He has a bust. How is that not a woman?
She tried to make him look manly, and it didn't work because young Doc was not a
I think
very.
they started with a woman statue and put his head on it. But it
Well,
kind of looks like the Statue of Liberty. I wonder if it's supposed to.
Well, young Doc was. I think it's supposed to be more like a statue of Zeus, I think, holding the lightning
okay.
bolts.
That makes more sense. Yeah, standing on like some sort of
Standing
large
on top of.
urn or
Yeah,
something.
very odd.
The ashes of his fallen enemies.
Yeah.
Bureau of Discipline.
Oh, now I remember what I was gonna say. Young Doc is sort of athletic. He was on like the football team, wasn't he?
Was he?
That was a plot point where he was able to run away from Kid Tannen and his goon in the first episode very well.
Okay.
And Marty's like, "How did you know? How were you able to run so fast?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm on the football team." And he said his nickname or something like that.
Leech? Hey, my bad. I should have
You
left
say
the
so.
sign in Latin, just so you'd understand.
You're probably not making that up.
Outweighed
So who is Leech? Is he a character from the
I
movies?
don't know. Maybe he's some very, very side character that didn't like even have a name or any speaking parts or anything. I don't know.
Because the same person who does Marty's voice in the game does Leech's voice as well.
Yeah, 'cause we don't see him like at all else in this game in like all in any of the episodes, do we?
Nope. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, apparently he was invented just for this game.
Okay.
But, you know, he's supposed to be like Needles, the guy who is
Yeah,
sort
okay,
of a jerk.
that's kind of what I was thinking. But why didn't they just make him Needles?
I don't know.
That leads to the soup mo.
That would have been easier.
Come out here. That junk looks awfully familiar. 50 years familiar.
Yeah. Wasn't there? I mean, Marty. Whatever. With like the brick wall, is that's how they got rid of the speakeasy?
What's the deal?
Yeah, they just put a brick wall over it.
Even though one of the bricks is clearly loose and can be moved, Marty doesn't try it.
Horrible role model. Better get away before I corrupt you.
Yeah, so one of our plans here to break one of the ordinances is that we're going to try to engage in some PDA with Jennifer.
Take a look at me, Martin. Do I look like the kind of girl that would hang around the president of the Junior Brown Brigade?
I don't know what the hell you're talking
Well, there are no
about.
other women around,
Yes.
so I guess
Doesn't have
Marty
too many
doesn't have a
options.
choice.
Did they outlaw women too?
They might have. I don't think they did.
We were meant to be together.
Look, just
I don't
because
know.
I
I
belong to a
mean,
couple of concerts
doesn't this
doesn't
seem
mean
like
we're
cheating
romance.
on Jennifer just a little bit?
Oh, it's still Jennifer. It's okay.
Even though she doesn't look or act anything like Jennifer?
Oh man, I don't know. That question is going to weird places.
No, I'm just saying, I just thought it was sort of a weird place to begin with. Because he has to work to win over the new Jennifer, and he has to do things that new Jennifer likes.
But what else could he do if he needs to break the PDA ordinance? What else could he do?
He could easily just, you know, I don't know, try to kiss Edna or something.
Actually, that would probably get him way more demerits than any of these other things.
It would. It would have him get sent directly to
Yeah.
Doc Brown.
Instead of wasting all this time. Huh, that's interesting.
Happy little trees. Get yourself a
Or he should have just,
wonderful
like,
kid. I'm not sure
littered
my
like
dad.
20 times in a row.
20 times in a row. Yeah.
What do you think?
Perhaps would make for less exciting gameplay, but
Seriously, what have you got against me? I'm kind of popular,
just like
right?
bust into Needle's hot dog stand and start throwing hot dogs everywhere.
What crowd?
That would
Yeah.
do it. Or steal from them, for that matter.
It's impossible. He can't be a dork.
Okay, anyone who talks about himself in the third person is a dork.
My mom and dad.
What
Okay,
about
so I
them?
guess she's saying she's not so much saying that this Marty is a dork, but the Marty from this time period is a dork.
Beyond repair.
Yeah, she doesn't like the Marty from this time
But
period.
wait, how come?
But she went out on a date with Marty from this time period, apparently. So
Wait, okay, how come the doc
Both.
that we
If that's what
had
the
in the
Citizen
car
Plus
previously
program's
was
all about,
magically
I'll stay a
transported
citizen minus.
away, but this
What do you know
Marty
about
is
the
still
Citizen
here?
Plus program?
And like,
All
cause
right here on TV,
our
and
doc
the
was
radio,
replaced by the
and
doc
it's
from this time frame, so
television,
why wasn't our
it's
Marty
all
replaced
over
by the Marty
They
from
want
this time
everybody
frame?
to enroll.
you'll
And
notice what
then it'll
happens.
make it so
Marty
happy
makes
and
mention of this
well
later on.
done,
He
which is why
asks his
I'm
father,
used
"Well,
to
where's the
it.
Marty from this timeline?" And the Marty from this timeline is out on vacation.
But what I'm saying is,
Conveniently
how come
out of
there are
town.
Do, huh?
two Martys but only one Doc?
Brown and get him to make it all better.
That
Sounds
is
like
a
the
good
kind of plan
question.
you'd come up with, weirdo.
Because I
And
don't
clearly
think there are like any
the
properties
the
of
Notebook-
how time travel
yeah.
works that would, like, I would assume that anyone who was in the car
No,
would be
really,
transported
it's a
here,
release date
in
wasn't
addition
his
to the
idea.
Marty and the
It'll
Doc
all
that are
be
already
done
here.
once I have a good talk
I don't think it makes sense that we lost
I
Doc.
almost feel sorry for you.
It won't be long before I see
You know, it would
Brown.
not be a very interesting game if future Doc was with Marty the whole time.
That's heck. And I mean, it would be much easier for him to repair the time machine because he would have Doc right there, and he wouldn't have to convince the Doc who knows absolutely nothing about time travel to try to fix it instead.
Don't even think about snitching on me unless you want this spray can up your
No, listen, you got
Yeah,
me
I think
wrong.
we've mentioned this a few
Looking
times
to,
already, but
break a
I do
few
think
rules myself.
this series,
You?
the game specifically, takes a few liberties with how time travel works in the Back to the
Graffiti a
Future
major
universe.
infraction?
You'd think,
Does not
but
bother
after
me in the
Big Brown
slightest,
Oh,
had
though.
these
really?
buildings coated in that Teflon polymer junk a couple
No,
years
not
ago,
really.
TV's
I
been on
mean,
top
I
of
just
it.
accept the
It's a
fact that
fact.
this is an alternate
Don't say it.
1986.
Okay.
This ban on public displays of affection bites.
Bothers me that
Hey,
Doc
you're talking
Doc
about
isn't
my
here,
most
though.
favorite legal infraction of all.
You know, it bothered me in the
That was
first
you.
game, but you know,
You.
now that I'm here, it's like, yeah, it doesn't bother me as much
Well,
anymore.
this public kissing is a load of bull, right?
Yeah, this town is
So she
full
still
of
won't
it.
kiss him.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Protest. That's what. Let's go stage a public kissing.
Let's
It's not,
stage a
say we
public kissing.
You know where I
That's
could
a great
score
idea.
some
You thought that
forbidden
could have
materials?
worked.
Do I strike you as somebody who would
Marty
possess
needs to
illegal
work on his
substances?
pickup lines.
Kinda, yeah.
And you strike me as somebody who would
Actually,
turn
that's
in
my
somebody
homework
like
for one of the
me.
viewers at home. I want you to go out and use that line on someone and see if it works.
What do you know
Well,
about
it
hard
has
like
to be
dangerous
somebody who's
animals?
in a place
So you know
where
like
they have a
horses?
public ban against kissing.
Oh,
Well,
lighten
no,
up.
just say that like you want to protest. If SOPA is still around when this video gets posted, say you want to protest SOPA by holding a kiss in.
Your paint's starting to streak.
Ah,
No, Marty.
Game Cola will not be held accountable for anything horrible that happens if you actually do that.
Yes, we
Do
will.
not take responsibility for either your actions or indeed even our own.
We're not being very responsible here.
It's got my name on it. They couldn't do anything.
Well, like, I mean, I could have suggested that they hold a murder in.
Okay, but still, I mean, it makes more sense to have a kiss in to protest a no kissing law.
You're right, you're right.
Look out, son!
Oh, here's another woman.
There we go.
Mom?
And it looks like Marty's mom, right?
It does, yeah.
The old version of the mom. I mean, you know, at the beginning of the first movie.
Not the one who plays tennis at the end of the first movie.
Yeah, not the tennis playing cool mom.
Happiness is overrated, Lorraine.
Mom's looking a
I'm
little
content.
dumpy here.
Well, I'll think about it.
Well, I guess she doesn't have to try that hard.
I saw you as I was driving in. Did you hear me honking?
Mom, that can't be you.
Well, you know, her husband in this timeline is
I'm fine.
really horrible.
So great.
Well, isn't that an uplifting way to greet your mother?
Sorry, I just don't.
I guess you're right, though.
I wonder
am
how
feeling a
they
little gray.
still ended
No
up
thanks to
together
your
in this
father.
vastly different timeline.
Yeah, and
So what?
mom is a
What?
boozer actually, which is why she's probably looking so dumpy. Is because she has a really bad drinking problem
For my
in this
picture,
timeline. But
the statue all day.
Oh, right.
I don't know. You know, in episode 2,
What's with the
we
cover
saw
art, Mom?
a different alternate 1986 that the parents still got together.
So
Remember, you had Biff
maybe
and his
they're,
brother.
kind of making a commentary about love here. Love
Maybe.
always finds a way.
Martin, are you sure
I don't think they're intentionally doing that, but that's kind of neat.
Yeah, I must have had a really vivid
Well,
dream
Biff,
last
Biff and
night.
his brothers. I mean, you could ask about that. You could ask, and I think they said something like, even in the alternate 1986, Marty's father still beat up Biff. He still punched Biff
Right.
at the big dance. So maybe that happened again in this alternate 1986 for some reason.
Well, that's not unreasonable. I mean, there's what a 20-year gap between the events of the last two games and the events of the first movie. Is that true? 30s to 50s? Maybe Doc and Edna hadn't managed to do enough to transform society yet at that point. And by society, I mean just Hill Valley. The whole world isn't like this. This also kind of begs the question: if things are so messed up in this town, how come the state or federal government never stepped in?
That was mentioned in one of the fun fact thingies, you know, the
Okay.
tour things, that it was declared independent from the state of California.
Oh, okay.
City.
Well, there you go.
They actually answered your
Yeah, I was
question.
gonna say sometimes they actually do answer the random questions I come up with.
What isn't illegal in Hill Valley?
Dad's a peeping Tom.
And I assume, too, there must be some sort of rule against people leaving Hill Valley.
There is not, because Marty's brother and sister left.
Okay. Also, since I kind of talked over it, your comment just there, it's kind of hilarious that he is a peeping Tom here.
Yes. And Marty has the same guitar.
Hey, what's my guitar doing out here? Your mother and I convinced you to give it up, remember? Rock and roll music is frowned on by the Brown administration. It sets a poor example for all the kids who look up to you as a model of studiousness and moral gravity.
Marty is such a nerd in this time.
Yeah.
Come on, Dad, I need that guitar. Give me one good reason why I should give it back to you. Because rock and roll is my density. Destiny. Destiny.
Yeah, they had to
What
make that
would you
joke.
know about destiny? Now quit fooling around and get back to your studies.
Destiny, yeah.
A certain girl is only gonna like me if I can play the guitar. A certain girl.
Why doesn't Marty just pick it up and leave? What is his
Seriously.
dad going to do?
What's Dad gonna do? He's too focused on his work.
But
Slash,
this
on
is the
staring at
puzzle. This actually is a minor puzzle. It's like if you pick any of the other options, he won't give you the guitar. So you notice you had 3 dialogue options
right,
there.
right.
You had to pick that one.
Huh. Wait, why did that convince him?
Because Dad believes in the power of true love.
Oh.
Just like as we've been saying, these games have a lot more to do with love than we suspected.
Thanks. Say, what gives around
Except for Doc and Edna. Apparently they're not really in love with each
See,
other.
that's it. That was a relationship that was never supposed to happen, and that's why it doomed the world.
Apparently, yes. Because if you go out with the wrong person, the world must end.
do you like to do it for kicks?
Okay, it doomed Hill Valley anyway.
I've been gathering candid documentary
So kids, be careful about who you date.
promotional videos are over
Mhm.
here now. I know your mother doesn't approve of my
Now here's
work,
my question. Who does Biff marry?
Does Biff marry anyone?
Because in Back to the Future Part 2,
Right, there's Griff.
don't they call him Grandpa Griff, who's clearly supposed to be like his grandson.
You're right. Oh,
So does he have
It
an
must
unknown
happen
son
after
who's
1985
Marty's
then.
age? Yeah, it has to happen after 1985, or he has an unknown son who's Marty's age.
How was he when you spoke to her? Lucid?
Well, I guess it doesn't necessarily have to happen after 1985. We see Biff so briefly there. I mean, it's possible he is married, and we just don't know about it.
Relapsed into her old ways, but she's been acting very odd lately, almost as if she didn't like my
It's saying here that his name is Griff. They don't give him a last name. They don't say his name is Tannen.
probably very near the spot where she's
But he
working
has to be a
right now.
Tannen.
Do me a
He does,
favor,
because he's
son.
played
His
by
name
the
is
exact
Griff,
same
and he's played by the same dude, yeah.
Truth out of her. She won't confide in me, but
Huh.
she may be less guarded with you. Double
Okay,
rations
so
visit.
if he's
Help your old man out?
19
What
in
do you say?
2015,
That's a good boy. Okay, Dad, we need to talk.
okay, Griff was born in
When I came
1996,
in just now.
Okay.
and is the grandson of Biff Tannen. Since the identity of his parents are not unknown, it's not clear whether his last name is Tannen.
I might as well tell you. After all, you'll be
Right, so it's saying that
Or-
Biff could have
yeah.
had a son or a daughter that
Yeah.
fathered or mothered this person.
You were led to believe it was.
Griff is
Right,
going to
so
be born.
if he was born in 1996, then Biff must have been married and had a child well before
Yeah.
1985.
Yeah, he's going to be born 10 years after this scene right here.
Right. The grandson is.
The grandson. So let's assume like if his parents were say, yeah, his parents must have been born in like the 60s, 70s.
In the game, and they all in the game and the movies just gloss over this.
Probably late 60s.
Well, I think we know what Back to the Future the game 2 is going to be about.
Yeah.
We must learn more about Biff's lineage now.
Oh, and now we're learning that everybody hates the police-run state.
Sounds like people can't stand
Why don't
when
they
the
leave?
Browns come to Hill Valley. Not everyone. Only around 50%, maybe 60%.
No, only 60% doesn't like it.
Brown know?
Yeah, so it's relatively
I
popular.
mean, that's pretty close to like real life, isn't it?
I mean, how many people dislike the way our government is handling
Exactly.
things?
Maybe you should take your tapes directly to Brown.
I mean,
But
at
I
any given time, 50% of the country is going to dislike how the government is run just because their guy isn't in office at the moment.
Yeah.
So
And this
60%, really, that's actually pretty good.
This answers your question of why nobody leaves, because that's not what happens in real life. In real life, I mean,
People
this
always
was a-
say they're going to move to Canada if the person X wins the presidency, but they never mean it.
Yeah.
Wow, this commentary's going to some weird places.
It's a weird places, but it was like 10 years ago after September 11th, you had a lot of comments. It's like, if you don't like this country, why don't you just leave? It's like, well, they don't leave.
It's about Mom.
It's like, even if they don't like what the government is doing, it's still a nice country.
Yeah, I have very few complaints.
You're right. It's a real puzzle.
I don't plan to move if someone I don't like wins in the election this year.
Who knows who's going to
Unless
win
it's
in the
Ron Paul, that guy's creepy looking.
I think they're all sort of creepy looking.
I watched the debates a couple weeks ago, and it was it was the CNN debates, and I won't talk about this too long because we probably should get back on topic at some point. But it was really funny watching the candidates just completely abuse the moderator because he was a CNN guy. They had to show that they are big bad Republicans and try to put the CNN guy in his place to appease the fan base. It was really weird.
I never get involved with political things until they've decided on like 2 to 3 candidates.
Yeah.
Because what'll happen inevitably is that I'll like this one candidate and then he'll drop out. Different subject. So
Anyway,
I mean,
yeah.
this was me deciding to talk to him about pretty much everything, which was not very fun to record, actually. By the way, not fun to record.
Oh, but that's the way you gotta play adventure games. Click on everything, talk to everyone.
Yeah. But I mean, this will answer a lot of the questions you have about this timeline and what's going on here.
It would if I wasn't talking about politics during it.
So here's Nerdy.
Wait, doesn't he mention some point that Marty in this timeline is also really bad at the guitar?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to understand why Jennifer broke up with me in this time.
I kind of want to meet Nerdy Marty. He sounds fun.
Are you still mooning over that girl?
You think Marty would... Well, they try to avoid having Marty run into other Martys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so the other Marty is on vacation, just like by himself?
Yeah, that was one of the conversations we talked to.
Yeah.
Which is why we have the subtitles. Oh, here we go. Where can I find me?
Oh, there we go.
Is there anywhere you expect me to be, like, right now? Well, I did expect you to be up at the lake until
Oh, okay, he just
tomorrow
went to
with
the...
that
Okay.
magic competition, so I guess your time is pretty much your own right now.
Math magic competition.
Okay, different subject. Yeah.
Marty's a mathlete.
So about you and your, work. Shoot. You seem to be really into this spying business. It's not spying, son. It's cinema verite. These candid moments of Hill Valley's residents will eventually be compiled and edited into
Oh, here we go, here we go.
promotional materials that advertise our
I managed to look it up. Young Doc was called The Streak, and he did play football.
Okay, cool.
So he is kind of athletic, I guess. He doesn't look like a football player, but
Well,
the rules
most
are
of the-
different.
yeah. Well, I mean, most of the time we
Nerdy.
see him, he's kind of an old guy, so it makes
Yeah.
sense that we don't really get the athletic impression from him. So
Yeah,
he
but
also
I mean,
didn't look
Young
that
Doc.
athletic when he was young, though. He didn't look very well coordinated.
Science fiction's illegal? Sci-fi promotes an unhealthy obsession.
Now they've done it. Science fiction is illegal in this alternate timeline.
Encourages the idea that there might be better societies
This
than
game
Hill
itself
Valley,
would be illegal
which is
here.
subversive nonsense, of course.
Yes.
Okay, different subject. Yeah.
So, why the puzzle should be then that we have to write a science fiction novel and get it published and everything.
Have
Yeah.
you seen Biff lately? Not since he went to the reconditioning center.
I really haven't started solving any of the puzzles yet, to be quite
Got
honest.
another 4.5 minutes or so. Do you think the puzzle's gonna get solved by then?
No, it's not. I think I'm gonna finish the conversation with Dad, and then I'll go back to Main Square, and then I'll solve all of the puzzles. I mean, we're setting up, hopefully, for all the puzzles. But no, this is part of the reason why I like this game. They have a lot of these optional conversations.
Yeah.
It gives depth to this new alternate 1986.
No, I mean, the thing I was looking forward to most about this game was just exploring the characters more and the story more and the settings more. So, I mean, that was a big plus. Of course, I don't remember any of it, having already played it a while ago. But, yeah. So I guess that's why, because I know a lot of people were kind of bothered because they thought the puzzles were a little too light and a little too easy, but that didn't even really occur to me when I was playing the games. Although it did occur to me when it turned out each game was only like 2 hours long because I was able to fly through the puzzles so quickly.
Yeah, it was a complaint, like it's basically just watching a movie because so many cutscenes and you just click.
Follow this website. They cover a lot of adventure games specifically by companies that have a relation to LucasArts and LucasArts former employees and stuff like that, called mixandmojo.com. And Back to the Future, the game, is kind of like a joke with that website. Just how much they despised it. They obviously were not Back to the Future super fans.
I think this is the best episode. I think this is what everybody agreed, right?
Well, personally, I just love the setting in this episode, I think. I think that made it for me.
Didn't Matt Jonas say that this was the best one, even though he's never... Do you remember what Matt Jonas said?
No. I know that he just messaged me on Facebook saying that he wants to join in on the next videos, but he has to play episodes 4 and 5 first.
Oh, well, we can get him in on the second video.
We could actually.
Why don't we try that?
Okay, let's try that. After the break, I'll send him a message.
That'll be a surprise for all our viewers. Matt Jonas suddenly appearing in the second part.
Surprise.
And he hasn't missed anything because we haven't solved any of the puzzles yet.
Yeah, we can do that. That would be fun.
Yeah, see, he's setting up here the fact that Mom is a booze hound.
What's the deal with the house, Dad? Don't know how to tell you this, son, but while you were away at your Mathemagic competition, our house got slapped with the CZ36
It was kind of difficult to write a walkthrough for this game because you could do the puzzles in pretty much any order. I did them all at once, but I don't know, I'll talk about that later.
I just sent him a quick message on Facebook asking if he wanted to join in like 15 or 20 minutes.
They let me move my office out here into the garage. So, when is this dust mite problem going to be solved so I can...
Guess I could have said shorter than that. This video is almost over.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Kind of backed up, so I wouldn't expect them until tomorrow morning. Tomorrow?
Actually, I don't want to get anyone too excited, but I just noticed that I have an email waiting for me from Nicola too, so maybe we can get him into the next video.
Okay, this timeline is officially a nightmare.
Now it's going to be really disappointing. People are going to be so disappointed when it's just you and me again in the next one.
Yeah, but how long have we been talking to George McFly? This is what I mean when I've been saying it was very boring to record this section.
I'm starting to have 999 flashbacks.
You've only done the first 999 video. You guys have like
Oh, God.
13 more hours to go.
Maybe we'll have to get other people to join in on those too.
No. 999 was a lot of fun.
No, it is an excellent game. There are just certain portions where there's a lot of talking and not a lot of doing things.
Mm-hmm. So this is it. I basically this is what I tried to do with the last. I'll shut up here because the video's almost over. But I tried to solve all the puzzles back to back to back to back to back, rather than solving them in a specific order.
And that about does it for this video. We'll see you in the next one. Maybe with a special friend.